reason why it's cutter cutters, because they're not centering the ball between thumb and middle finger. It's over to the side. So again, that's what promotes that additional twisting that could be a problem, correct?
Yeah, and Dean, that's perfect. And you know, when Robert did the MODIS study, if literally if you are twisting into release point when the forearm, the wrist, and the fingers are going as the fastest that the arm will ever go, that is what tears the elbow up.
And yes, it's a great pitch, but it should be age appropriate. Okay.
Yes, it's a grown man's pitch.
There we
not
go.
Not a teenager pitch.
Okay, so let's go on and talk about, you know, where most people probably thought the curveball was the most dangerous pitch in baseball. I think even the 90s and early 2000s, they were thinking about banning that pitch in Little League because of it. But let's tell you why that was wrong. There's been lots of great studies besides our own.
And so a lot of that concern led to studies by both Little League and ASMI, and they found that it really didn't matter what pitch was thrown, that it was throwing volumes and it was poor mechanics that caused injury. So throwing pitches with poor mechanics or in higher volumes than the pitcher could handle. But breaking balls, they weren't a risk factor in injury for athletes. So, but there are different curveballs that are taught, and some of those are dangerous. The first one, Dean, can you just put your ball up there? I don't have
Right,
it.
yeah.
So turn the doorknob into release is one that's taught. And so if you're trying to, come into release and you're trying to turn the ball into release, right? And I actually had my son throw that with the MODIS sleeve on. And before the ball ever got to me, the first thing he said was, ouch. So that one actually hurt his arm, and that had the highest stress of any pitch that I've ever seen him throw. The next one is hooking the wrist, right? So I'm trying to hook the wrist into release, and that's dangerous for the UCL, the elbow joint, and the wrist. Next is thumb the ball, trying to thumb the ball through release, and that just creates a hump on the ball. It doesn't work very well. If you're a good hitter, you recognize a curveball easy. That one just goes in the parking lot. Then flop the wrist through release, right? So you're going to come through release here, and you're going to try to flop the wrist. That's dangerous to the wrist and elbow. And then finally, you come to the safest curveball, which is the one we teach and call it the NPA curveball. All right.
And
Right.
just to expand a little bit, Robert, there's actually, I see pitchers even today that are snapping their fingers with a ball in their hand, trying to put speed on it by twisting their thumb. That actually slows spin rate down. So stay away from anything that is going to move wrist or fingers into release point.
And Robert, next slide, after this, we're going to show the actual grip and talk about where it is in the hand and things like that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So our
Let's go
method
on.
of teaching different pitching grips, though, especially for youth athletes, is we want you to preset the grip in your glove, right? So when you break your arm, there's no forearm rotation. So if you watch my arm, it's a fastball grip. I want to break fastball. I want to come out and throw fastball. There's no forearm rotation. If I put a curveball in my glove, I break curveball. There's no forearm rotation, right? So forearm rotation is one of the major stressors on the UCL. So Tom, can you talk about how to throw different pitches? Is it more important for forearm angle or for grip?
Well, it's wrist and forearm angle that deliver the grip. Let me say that again. The pitch that you're throwing is setting your wrist and your forearm almost in concrete. And then the grip itself is how the fingers and the thumb cut the ball in half. So you and I have been talking about this. We've been talking about it for 25, 30 years. You can grab a 4-seam fastball grip and make the ball curve, sink, whatever. The grip is thumb and middle finger cutting the ball in the half. That's the grip. Making the pitch move is wrist and forearm. So I've seen the slides, so I know we're going to go with this. So if you think about cut the ball in half with thumb and middle finger, and then arrange your wrist and forearm in a preset, to use your words, preset it in the glove, and then just deliver the pitch. Do not let anything twist the grip into release point.
So we don't want to be twisting any pitch into release, right? Changing forearm angle. We want to.
That is a bad elbow and or a bad shoulder.
When we look at elite pitchers, in the moment that they're at release with their curveballs, what we see is a firm wrist straight. Okay, we don't see any twisting, snapping, curving. It's almost their hands are in a complete karate chop position and a straight wrist. There's no cupping. Of course, we have, your cement mixer, hanging curveball, great curveball, and this is your bouncing in, not for a strike curveball. So